There's still a number of good athletes to compete, so let's wait and see. Now we switch our attention to the men's 1500 meters. Well, 3 very packed heats here. A lot of talent in European 1500 meter running at the moment. So we got 12 men in this first heat. Chris O'Hare, twice a World Championship finalist. He's also made finals of the World Indoor Championships. Well, not in great form at the moment, but Homayai Tesfaye, the German, back in 2014 ran 3:31.14. That's his personal best. 3:31.98, I should say. And the 2012 champion, silver medalist 4 years ago, bronze medalist 2 years ago, one of the fantastic Ingebrigtsen family. And the man who's really on form at the moment, Jakub Halusa, has twice broken his national record in recent weeks. Czech. Halusa, the European indoor champion at this distance in 2015. So just to give a name check to everybody in the field, we've got Ivanovski of the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, Halusa, Ingebrigtsen, Johan Rogerstadt of Sweden, former youth 800 meter champion, Tesfaye, Gomez of Andorra, Edman of Norway, a second Norwegian in this race, Callahan of Belgium, O'Hare, Grethen of Luxembourg, Mischler of France, and Kutz of Ukraine.
Well, sadly, Phil, it's very pedestrian indeed. I say sadly, I also think it's very unfortunate when these just degenerate into an 800 meter race.
No, I think sad is the right word, because it just opens it up. You lose all chance, and bearing in mind that there's only 3 from this heat to go through as an automatic qualifier, there's 3 other slots in the final. I think you're absolutely right. To be honest, why do a lot of those middle ranking athletes, we saw 3 or 4 athletes who might think that they've got good enough sprints, but to stand any chance whatsoever of qualifying for the final, why aren't the likes of Mischler, Kutz or Callahan actually taking it out?
So here, 69.32, the 400 meter. Would be slow for a women's race.
Well, at least what can sometimes happen with a bit of pushing and shoving. We've not had any accidents so far. Bringing up the rear is Grethen of Luxembourg.
But yeah, now the pace is pushing up, and we've got a man brave enough to go out the front and speed it up on lap 2, which is more encouraging, I think.
And the aforementioned Kutz indeed has decided to lay down the gauntlet a little bit to his colleagues, and the very tall Swede at the front of the main pack is Johan Rogerstadt. Rogerstadt now 25 years of age. Rogerstadt 3:38 performer this year. Kutz we've seen quite a lot of on the international circuit, but he's never really had a great deal of success.
So 2:12.92 at 800 meters, and that's means it's a 63.6 second lap. Not fast by any means, but better.
So it's still Kutz in front now as the rest of the pack come to join him. Two men starting to drift off the back, the Andorran and the runner from Luxembourg. Well, Rogerstadt's now taking it up at the front with O'Hare on his shoulder. Oh, does it say that? The Luxembourg athlete coming the long way around, Grethen. And as we hear the bell, it's Rogerstadt followed by O'Hare. Halusa now, one man who has got a sharp finish, now moving his way up gradually up onto 4th place. He's got a clear run of things.
57.3, that third lap.
Well, it really is starting to crank up now, but as Peter was saying, this has really turned into an 800 metre race. fallen into the hands of the fast finishers. There's going to be a few men in this race who are going to not make it through as non-automatic qualifiers, as with 150 metres to go. O'Hare hits the front, Rogestad in second at the moment, but now O'Hare, the Briton, heading for home. He's got a 2-metre advantage over the rest. Tesfaye bursts through from nowhere as Halusa starts to struggle. Ingebrigtsen now running well and gets the third place, so it's O'Hare, Tesfaye and Ingebrigtsen. That's the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, 3:49.06, so obviously a slow time. But in fact, Klaas did out, and 3 of the top men certainly were there. Although Halusa, of course, is a big name, and he will now be out.
Well, we've got 3 non-automatic qualifiers to go through. In fact, Halusa didn't even finish 4th. Rogestad held his own and came through for 4th there. So 3:49.06 for O'Hare, Tesfaye 3:49.78. And Ingebrigtsen followed them home to get the 3rd automatic qualifier. Now, the most sensible thing now for men in the following heats is just to keep the pace at a high tempo, probably in the low 340s.
Sense? What's that got to do with it?
It's hot out there.
I gave you the line, Peter. I knew you were going to come out. I know how you feel about this.
You're quite right.
I also agree with you 100%.
It does give them the opportunity, and in fact, it's often the last of the heats that's run like this and slowly. But it does set them some targets to go for, so that more than 3 can go through.
So that's the first of the Ingebrigtsens to qualify for a final at these championships. We've got his brother Philip coming up a bit later.
Well, the runners assembling there for Heat 2 of the 1500 metres. We just saw Charlie de Val-Grice of Great Britain, who's been a competitor for Britain in most of the major championships of recent years. This race indeed does figure with another of the Ingebrigtsen family, the brilliant group, the defending champion and the fastest man in Europe this year with that Norwegian record of 3:30.01. This is Philip Ingebrigtsen, the second of the brothers and by age, Henrik, Philip, and of course the marvellously talented youngster Jakob, who we'll see in the next heat. Benitz, Timo Benitz for Germany, second from the outside, introduced to the crowd. Then we have Kadiri of Cyprus, Miele of France, Grice of Great Britain, 4th in the Commonwealth Games back in April this year. And he's got a best of 3:33.6. Isaac Kameli was a finalist last time in Amsterdam, then of Spain. Marcin Lewandowski, perhaps better known as 800-metre runner, but nonetheless European indoor champion last year at 1500 and second in the world indoors, has decided to do just the 1500 rather than the 800 here. Sheikh Ali of Italy, Kali Berglund, a very talented young Swede, second from the inside, and Benjamin Kovac of Hungary completes the lineup. Just to remind you, it's the first 3 to go through, and then another 3 on times from these 3 heats of the men's 1500 metres. Interesting to see what pace they do try to go at in this race. So the top man in Europe, Philip Ingebrigtsen, going on the outside. Wildcard entry if he needed it, of course, as the defending champion. Well, they've gone off at a reasonably sprightly pace, but this is the time when sometimes it settles down to a rather slow one. It's a little quicker than the first heat, that can be said. So Ingebrigtsen, the tall figure, the Norwegian, who's just biding his time at the moment. Sheikh Ali of Italy coming to the fore, I think. And the Spaniard, Adrian Ben. They're going through, yeah, 45.94 for the first 300 metres, so this is much more respectable. Sensible pace being set by the runners. Ingebrigtsen happy to bide his time just at the back of the field. And they're coming up to 60.74 for the first 400.
So that's nearly 9 seconds faster than that previous heat for the first 400.
Well, that says it all. So it's Sheikh Ali from Ben, from Miele, the Frenchman in the blue. The Hungarian Kovac. For Sweden, Berglund, pretty well placed. Still no real move from Ingebrigtsen. Sheikh Ali it is from Ben, who's taking it out. Grice taking closer order, the British athlete moving up into what about fourth, fifth place. 2 laps to go then in the second heat of the 1500 meters, and still Sheikh Ali of Italy who leads the pack. And 3 to go through. Oh, there's a little fall there, and there is a faller. Well, that in fact is the Frenchman Alexis Millet, who's got very quickly back to his feet again, and Philipp Ingebrigtsen. So there's a shock. The defending champion, it looks like he's got no chance now, because it's Ingebrigtsen trying his best to make up ground. He's got an awful lot to do. Millet at the back there. So a shock immediately there with Ingebrigtsen a sufferer as he fell. So the real close pact coming up to the bell. But Ingebrigtsen is back there. So he really did have to work hard to do that. 2:46.35 at the bell. All to play for, 3 to go through. But Ingebrigtsen has recovered from that fall, I'm delighted to say. But it's all shuffling around and bursting through Lewandowski now. Well, we've gotten accustomed to a good finish from him, the 800 metres, and he's showing his strength here. Lewandowski leading them. 3 to go through. And there's a group of 4 at the front, and it could be decent on times as well. Just coming round the outside is Grice, the British athlete. But it's still Lewandowski strong enough. Ingebrigtsen coming through on the inside there. Grice on the outside. And it is on the line. It's Lewandowski first across the line. Then Grice and Ingebrigtsen are the 3 who get through. Well, Ingebrigtsen recovered from a nasty fall. Luckily, it was soon enough to give him time to come back. He worked really hard on lap 3 to make it. And he had the strength to come through to win it.
And he is celebrating there. He's very relieved to have made that by a whisker, showed some strength, and that really, let's hope he didn't really hurt himself in any shape, but that makes it 2 Ingebrigtsens in the final. Can we get a third one? That is the question.
Surprised if we don't, with Jakob in the next, we'll see. Bennett's 3:41.01 in 4th place. Now he's got to wait to see what tempo the final heat has run at, but that's pretty useful. And he may well have done enough. Berglund of Sweden 6. There's the replay of it, and a nasty fall there. Just let's see how it happened. I think just clipping each other's legs there. Ingebrigtsen, you see it left, right at the top, and when the other man went down, really he had no chance at all. But fortunately, quickly back and into his running.
And I can tell you that means the elimination of Jakob Halusa.
Well, that was never in doubt, surely, Phil, but yes.
Will be a surprise to some. He now trains actually with Martin Lewandowski. He's coached by Lewandowski's brother Thomas, and that is disappointing for Halusa from that first heat.
Olha Saluducha, the former world and European champion.
As we move to the third of 3 1500 meter heats. The athletes have probably kept an eye on the times of the 2 previous heats. There is the German Marius Probst, last year's European under-23 champion over the distance. So talented young athlete, 22 years of age. There is Commonwealth Games bronze medalist from this year, so he's had a long season. From Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Jake Whiteman. And on the inside, by far the youngest, and has seen both of his brothers progress to the final. just 17 years of age, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and the fastest in this field. Let's just take a quick look at the lineup overall. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Jake Whiteman, Simas Bertasius of Lithuania, Jan Hochstrasser of Switzerland, Elmar Engholm, Marius Probst, João Busotti Neves, Ismail Debjani, Simon Denisel, Tamas Kazi, and Harvey Dixon. So those are the remaining 11 athletes battling for 3 automatic qualifier spots and hopefully some time spots. Jakob Ingebrigtsen's taking it very easy there, way out of trouble. Maybe got a bit scared when his brother got involved in that trip up in that previous heat.
Though, of course, having run the same tactic of running right at the back of the field and going into trouble when he tried to move up.
And he is such a talented young athlete. I mean, he's just got recently come off the back of a very successful World Under-20 Championships in Tampere and has set a massive personal best of 3:31.18 in Monaco at the Diamond League. But let's take a look here at the race. In first, we've got the Swiss athlete Jan Hochstrasser leading them as they approach the 400-meter mark. Definitely faster than the first heat, that is for sure. Slightly slower, I think, or very similar to that second heat.
Yes, a little
but a lot
slower.
more spread out.
The clock didn't stop that time, and it was 61.5, I would guess.
And Hochstrasser really staying out of trouble. As Jake Whiteman, we see there on the outside, just moving through a little, of course, coached by his dad. And there's actually 3 athletes in this heat, all coached by their fathers. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, one of them, Jake Whiteman, the other, and a 4th one who is Elmar Engholm of Sweden. You can see there at the back on the right-hand side of your screen. Also coached by Jeff Whiteman. So Jake's father is Harvey Dixon, who competes for Gibraltar. We can see there in the red vest. But it looks to me like the pace hasn't really ramped up quite that much.
Well, you're right, and it was only 2:03 plus. And remember, there are 3 times in the 3:41s in the previous heat, which would be 4th and 6th.
And now we can see Jakob Ingebrigtsen on the outside starting to make a move there. Comes up on the shoulder of Jake Whiteman, who is now moving up to 5th. At the front, we've got the Frenchman, Denisel, followed by the Lithuanian and the Swiss athlete. But on the outside, there is Jake Whiteman now making a move as we approach the bell, and Jakob Ingebrigtsen coming through as well. So 400 meters to go.
2:46.97. Well, probably only the first 3.
Denisel there, still in the lead. Hochstrasser still amongst there. Jakob Ingebrigtsen now moving into 3rd. The youngster became the youngest athlete to ever break the 4-minute mile at the age of 16 last year at the Diamond League. But now we have Jake Whiteman comfortably leading this with Jakob Ingebrigtsen behind him. And Bertash, the Lithuanian. And there's a strong Belgian coming through, and the Italian coming through on the inside. Neves there might just sneak that 3rd spot. So it is Jake Whiteman from Jakob Ingebrigtsen and João Busotti Neves for Italy, who get the 3 automatic qualifier spots.
Well, it ended up with a very fast last 700 meters or so. 3:40.73 for Whiteman, 3:40.81 for Ingebrigtsen. And indeed, 4th place. Yeah, Bertesius has done enough. The Luxembourger, not the Luxembourger, what am I talking about? The Lithuanian, who's broken 3:41, and he'll go through in 4th place. But wow, didn't Ingebrigtsen look good, though? It was so smooth. I mean, Whiteman, who was a 1:44 800-meter runner this year, had it under control, but I was very impressed with Ingebrigtsen.
There's a lot more to come in the final. It would be so interesting. I mean, I don't really know the family dynamics of how they train together and how they get on and so forth. But I'm just wondering whether we could possibly see a third Ingebrigtsen brother take the gold medal. Is he talented enough? I still think Philip probably has the edge. We're seeing Henrik perhaps thinking more about the 5,000 metres.
So it was actually the Italian who got that third spot, and Bertasos got the fourth qualifying spot based on time, which means we have 2 more from the second.
Well, Debjani, 3:41.09. I think he's through as well. Or was he not? No.
No, I can confirm.
Okay, thank
According to what I'm seeing, is Timo Meditz has gone through. He had 3:41.01, but they're actually looking now at the photo finish, because also in the second heat, Moad Abdelkader Sheikh Ali also had 3:41.09. So they're checking the thousands.
Right.
Could go either way.
2 round 41.09. Well.